trauma responses in us tend to elicit a couple of different reactions, and usually our body responds in a way that is almost like disconnected from our brain. So it's not like our brain's going like, I'm filing through trauma responses and like, here's what I choose. It's like in a moment of trauma, which most people define as a moment where your body senses that you're in danger. That's the definition I tend to use. There are a lot of different, ways that people interpret that and identify with it. You may actually not identify with the term trauma, and that's okay too. But for a lot of people, there is a sense of like that feeling. So we're pretty familiar, I think most of us, with the concept of fight or flight. Those are the trauma responses that we, I think, hear about the most. Like, I'm either gonna like flee or I'm here to fight. A few people know that we've also added in freeze. So fight, flight, freeze. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm frozen in place. And actually a lot of animals have that response first. If like a deer hears a gunshot, it will like freeze up and then it'll shake. The fourth response that experts are understanding more and more is fawn. So fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And fawn is the trauma response where we get really nice. We become people pleasers. We try to make everything okay. We are placating, even if it's happening in a moment. Maybe you're placating the person who's traumatizing you, trying to make it okay. And what you'll see, especially if you work with, say, college students and end up, coaching or teaching or helping them heal around, say, date rape or sexual assault that was at the hands of people they know, people that they like, or whatever, like a social circle that they're in, which is, of course, so much more common than kind of like the stereotypical narrative of like a masked stranger in the bushes. It's like the guy that walked you home is so much more likely to be your assailant than like a stranger. What you see with college students, this is just one example, is like a dynamic where afterward, maybe a victim of sexual assault was still friendly with the person that assaulted her. And in court, it can be really challenging then to prove this was non-consensual sex. So the response from the prosecution will be, like, well, how could it have been rape? She drove him home afterward. But the fawn response helps explain it completely, because our brain goes into a mode of make it all okay. Make it okay, make it okay. Make it okay that this happened. Try to rationalize that maybe this isn't assault. Did I do something to make it seem like I wanted this? That's part of the fawn response and social conditioning. And then on a really practical level, many women know in their body somewhere, like, if I make this person more mad, I'm in danger. So we get nice to protect ourselves. We develop our trauma responses in order to survive. Those are designed to keep us safe on a really kind of very basic level. Like, as long as you're still breathing and your blood is pumping through your veins, your trauma responses and your psychological survival mechanisms have done their job. So we get to be so gentle with them as we unhook. But unhooking is important because you're not just on the planet to appease everyone. What I find is that once you start to do a little bit of this unpacking, it's super helpful to realize why we've made choices that we've made and to not blame ourselves at all. And in fact, to feel that as we get to go deeper in our healing and kind of pull out more and more of who we truly want to be, we get to be stronger and take a stand for changing the world that we live in so that this is not so normal.